Can't find a decent MapKit tutorial for your next navigation app? Subscribe to the channel and let's take a look at the demo.
So let's test it out. Let's open up our app here. Let's allow once, or we could allow it for all times. And it's fetching our current location. Let's add in here a new Let's get directions.
In 124.0 meters, turn left onto Strata Salseiler, then in 281.0 meters, turn left onto Strata Tigaretti.
Okay, so let's start navigation. And as you can see, it's already moving. It's a short demo here, but we are just going to take 2 left turns. And as you can see, it's already working. It's centering the screen. How awesome is that? So let's take a left turn here. And after we go through this small little street, we should get into the next region where we will be notified. So yeah, we have to turn left. So let's just wait for this. It's a few meters ahead. And yeah, after that we have arrived to the destination. So just listen.
281.0 meters, turn left onto Strata Tigaretti. In 76.0 meters, arrive at the destination.
Yeah, how awesome is that? So let's just turn left here when we can, and that will be it. So let's jump into the code.
So let's just start into it. I know you're really excited about this, and we have just little time to do all of those awesome stuff. So let's open up Xcode and let's create a brand new project. There we go. Select project. Let me just resize this so you can see a little bit better here. And I will choose a single view application, click on next, and I will name this Get Directions. Okay, and make sure the user interface is set to storyboards because yeah, MapKit is for storyboards. We are not going to use, or we cannot use currently MapKit inside Swift UI. Of course, we could do if we use the representable, but yeah, that's for another time. Okay, let's click on next here. And let's just drop it onto our desktop for now. And let's hit on create. Okay, so let's just do a little cleanup here. Let's deselect landscape mode and iPad, and let's remove the main.storyboard. Let's delete this. Let's move to trash. And I'm moving a little bit fast here because we got a lot to do. So I want to get rid of the setup as fast as possible. So let's just remove from the application scene manifest, scene configuration, application scene role, item 0, the storyboard name from the main. So let's just click on the minus sign there. And finally, let's just move on to the scene delegate and well, instantiate the ViewController programmatically. So here we will just type in here window scene. There we go. And now it's time to initialize our window. So window equals UI window, and we are going to initialize it with this window scene. So select window scene and window scene. There we go. Now it's time to add our window scenes root view controller, window scene, no, sorry, window dot root view controller equals, and that will be our simple view controller. Okay, and finally we want to set the window as key and visible, make key and visible. Okay, so one last thing I will do before we build and run this is set our view controller's views background color to be, let's say, system blue. There we go, system blue. Make sure that we have selected one of our simulators and hit Command R and see what happens. Till this builds, make sure to check out the resources down below. There's a link there, and you will be able to download starter view controller that takes care a lot of time wasting in this tutorial. So it's just basically the layout. And there we go. We have connected our view controller correctly. We have our blue background. Okay, so what we are going to do is just close this and just delete this view controller and make sure that you download the view controller that I have implemented for you. Let me just go there and add it and there. Make sure copy item is needed is checked, create groups is checked, and get directions, the target is also checked. Okay, so now here we are, and you should see a view controller something like this. And as you can see, layoutless is kind of missing. What I basically have here is a bunch of labels, UI text field, UI button, the setup of our project. And for that, I use for laying out the views layoutless. So we are using CocoaPods. So let's just close this off and let me just open up terminal here. So terminal, and make this a little bit bigger. Type in CD and the space, and then navigate to the root folder of your project. And we are under desktop here, and let's see where it is. Get directions. There we go. And I'm just going to drag and drop it there and hit return. Type in pod in it. So we create a brand new pod file, and it should be created real fast. There we go. Pod file. Let's just drag and drop this pod file onto our Xcode icon, and let's just add the single pod that we are going to use here. First of all, let's set the platform to iOS 13, and then pod and layout less. There we go. You may as well close that and type in pod install. I know a lot of you guys already know how all of this works. We are just going to install our layoutless pod. And finally, now we do get our workspace. Let's just build and run. Not build and run, just open our workspace and resize it so you may see it better. And open up our view controller. And we are going to do all of our stuff in this view controller. Let's hit Command B so it will take a look at all the pods and find layoutless so we can import layoutless. Okay, it has built it successfully, so let's just jump right into it. And if we just build and run, you will see the basic template of this project and what we do have here. Let's just wait for that. And as you can see here, we have where do you want to go label. This is where we will display the next turn-by-turn navigation information. And we can enter our destination, a get direction button where we get our directions for that destination from our current location, and a start stop navigation button so we can start and stop the navigation. Of course, here we have our map. Okay, now before we dive into this, we are going to use the simulator's location. So there we go, we can simulate our location. Let's set to San Francisco and just build and run again, and you will see that we will be located in San Francisco once we update the location and so on. But yeah, just so you know, that is how we are simulating our location inside the simulator. Okay, so let's dive into doing some stuff. First of all, I would like to add in here a few variables, and I will go through each one of them step by step, and I will show you why I need this in this project. So the first one is that we need some steps, and this will be the steps from the MK route. The steps are basically the steps in your navigation route, and they kind of represent some data. What do you have to do? How much distance there is? So I'm setting up a variable here called steps, and that will be an array of MK route. There we go, dot step. And let's set this currently as an empty array. Make sure that you also imported MapKit and core location and layoutless and AV Foundation, because we are going to use the speech synthesizer, and that is inside AV Foundation. Next up, we want to have a step counter because we want to know which step are we in so we can display the steps information and of course use the speech synthesizer to read that out loud. So var step counter equals 0. Okay, next up we want to have a route, so route and that will be an mk route, and because I don't want to give it a default value, we just set it to be an optional. Okay, and some Boolean values here, and you will see their representation in the code. So show map route equals to false, and var show navigation started equals to false. These are just some Boolean values that we will toggle later on. And finally, I want to add a location distance that is kind of the radius of what we want to show of the map for this current location. So it will be a let because we are not going to change it. Location distance, there we go. And it needs to be a double. And let's set it to 500. Okay, next up I want to add the speech synthesizer. So var speech synthesizer, there we go, AV speech synthesizer, and we're just going to initialize it as is. Now, let's just start off by creating our location manager because we are going to use our user's current location. So I'm just going to set this up in a lazy var so I can easily set some attributes to our location manager. So lazy var, let me just move this a little bit up and maybe stop this simulator. Okay, so lazy var location manager. Let that be a capital M. Okay, location manager, and that will be a CL location manager. There we go. Okay, let location manager. If you are following along my tutorials, you already know all about these lazily loaded elements. So return our location manager and let's initialize it. Okay, and that will take care of our error. Now let's talk a little bit more about this location manager. What does it need to do? Well, first of all, we need to check if location services are enabled. And maybe in older iPhones you don't have location services. So that is pretty simple to check. If CL location manager location services enabled, and that will return a Boolean, and else we are just going to, let's say, print out, let's say, location services are not enabled. Okay, and you need to take care of all of these in alert controllers and so on. I'm just going to print out just to be really fast on this tutorial because it's going to be a long one. Now, we are going to set the location manager's delegate to self. Okay, and because we want to take a look at some updates and to have taken care of that error, let's add our extension here, extension, there we go, and ViewController, and let's see, CL location manager delegate. There we go. And we will add the necessary delegate protocol calls later on. Now let's just move all the way back here where we left off. And now we want to set the desired accuracy. Okay, so location manager desired accuracy. And that will be, and this will be a constant, like a string basically, but we have these KCL, another L for location, accuracy, and I will choose best. You could do and take a look at any of these. We will be using this for testing as a car, but yeah, accuracy best is what we are going to do. And finally, we want to handle our authorization status because yes, we are going to need to ask the user permission to use their location. So after that, we are going to handle the authorization status. So I already have down here a little function that has been started, and it says handle authorization status. And it requires a location manager, which we already have because we are going to use that, and a status. Okay, so let's just move a little bit up here and start typing in, and maybe I won't have either space. So handle authorization status. Location manager is our location manager that we are trying to build out here. And the status, well, we don't know the status currently, but we can fetch it from CL location manager. And I believe it's authorization status. Yeah. And yeah, that will trigger our location manager status. So what actually we want to add in here for our authorization? Well, we basically want to check if we do have this, is it restricted, denied, and so on. We will see that in just a second. So let's just scroll all the way down here to handle authorization status. And yeah, let's just switch, take a look at all of, well, maybe let's just delete this because I really like the auto completion of Xcode. So once you type that in, switch status and two parentheses, it will ask you that, okay, switch must be exhaustive. So let's fix this, and automatically Xcode will add all of the necessary cases. And I will remove the default value here. It's not the case. No. When it is, first of all, on the very first launch, it is not determined. So we want to request the authorization right over there. So location manager dot request when in use authorization, because yeah, we are just going to use location when we are using the app. Make sure that you are not over asking for permissions from your users. Now, for restricted, yeah, you could just print out something or handle the, like this case with an alert. But currently, I'm just going to break out. And for denied, we will do the same. So make sure you add in here the proper alerts. And authorized always, again, I'm going to break out. We are not going to ask for authorized always. And when in use. Now, this is what we are going to use, but I'm just going to add in here break again and break again here. Okay, and to do, this is what we are going to do next. But before we do that, let me just, let us just go a little bit up and start our location manager. And that we will do in the view did load after setup views. So location manager dot start updating, start updating location. So start updating location. Okay, so we have starting updating location. Now that we are launching our location manager or starting, let's just hit Command R and see what actual issues we will have here. Okay, so take a look at the log. Okay, so it says that this app has attempted to access privacy sensitive data without the usage description. So let's just copy this out, select it, copy it out, and let's just go to our info plist file. And just hover on anywhere there and hit the plus sign and just paste that in there and just move away, like click away. And as you can see, it has been changed to privacy location when in usage description. And get you navigation directions. That's the description. Okay. And that is what we are going to use. Build and run again, and now we will see a pop-up. Okay, allow get directions to access your location, get you navigation directions. And I will choose allow once because I want you to show you that this is also available. And after that, I will just allow while using the app. So allow once. Okay, how awesome is that? Okay, we have granted location access. And now let's just go move all the way back and let's just continue with our setup. Switch covers, let's just fix that. Let's add this. What do we do when we have authorized when in use? Well, we want to center the view to the user's current location. And as you can see, I already have here center view to user's location, and it needs a CL location coordinate. Basically, that's the coordinate of our current user. So what we want to do here is when we do get our authorized when in use status, then we want to take a look at if do we have a location coordinate for our current user. And I will that will be an optional. So if let center equals and the current location is under location manager, location, and coordinate. Okay, and you can see the location was an optional, and we will proceed only if this succeeds. And let's center view to user location, and let's use that center. Okay, let's just build and run again, and maybe we need to just select. I will choose allow while using the app so we don't get that. And let's just select San Francisco, and that should, we still need to do some stuff on the MapKit side. Okay, so center view to user location. And let's just fill that out. I just forgot that we didn't set the region and we didn't set that onto the MapKit. So what we want to do is, first of all, let's create a region here. So let region, and that will be an MK coordinate region. And let's just wait for that. We are going to use our this one. So the center will be a coordinate 2D. So center, what we just got. Latitudinal meters and longitudinal meters. If you recall, I have set this all the way up, like location distance, and I believe that needs to be capital D. And let's just choose 500 meters for this radius in all sizes. Okay, so now that we got our region, let's set the region for our map view. So map view, there we go. Set region, and our region animated true. Okay, so that's how we set the region onto our map view. But on the map view, we still need to set that up. So let's just scroll a little bit up here and find map view. Where is map view? Where are you? There we go, map view. And first of all, we need to set the map views delegate. So map view dot delegate equals self. Okay, and let's add some optional things here, like the first one is not optional because I want to see the user's location. So map view dot show user location equals to true. And maybe user tracking mode, you don't have to do this. Let's just simply take care of our delegate here. So we don't have that error. So we want to create another extension here. And that will be under the ViewController and mkmap and delegate, MapView delegate. There we go. So while we are here, let's just take care of the CL Location Manager delegates. First one is did change location. Let's just start typing in like location manager and did change authorization. There we go. And when we basically change our authorization, as you can see, I already set the authorization. I did tap on that, but it did not update. So whenever I change the authorization, I want again to handle the authorization. So handle authorization status, location manager, and the status will come from this delegate method, so the status. Okay, so now we want to check whether the location, we did update the location basically. So location manager and did update locations. There we go, select that one. So now we want to also center the user location, but we want to do this only if we are not showing the map route, because when we will be showing the map route, it will be like extended, and we will show all of the whole route of our where we want to get to. And we want to update the current location, like zooming in and centering the user only when this is not shown. So we have a simple if statement. If not showing, if not showing, or rather that is show map route. So let's grab our location, our last location, because as you can see, we have lots of locations added to our update locations function. So, and this will be the last one. It could be nil. So we are if let unwrapping. So location, and there we go. If let location equals locations dot last. And from this location, we want to grab our coordinates because, center view to user location does need a coordinate. Okay, let center equals our location dot coordinate. Okay, and finally, we just want to use center view to user location for this center. Okay. And that takes care of that. So let's build and run. And now we should see that we are in San Francisco. And there we go. Yes, currently we are. And if we just change it, let's say to Tokyo, Japan, as you can see, it has been changed. Really, really awesome stuff till today. And just so you know, we have changed it. And there we go. We have centered the user. Okay. So now that we do have our user centered and we do know our user's current location, what we want to do is, basically type in an address and then just geocode it and grab basically the location. So later on we can create our route. So let's just scroll all the way up to get... should be here something. Yeah. So get directions button tapped, because that's when we are going to tap it. We are just, first of all, let's just guard let unwrap our text field text. So guard let text equals text field dot text. As you can see, there was an optional else. Just simply return. Okay. Let's just return there. So what we want to do here is it is going to calculate the route. So at this point, it is going to stretch out and show the route. And what we want to set is the show map route. So show map route equals to true. And then we want to dismiss the keyboard. And that is pretty simple. We want to end editing on the text field. So text field and editing. There we go. And let's set it to true. Awesome. Now it's time to geocode. So let's just create out a geocoder. So let geocoder, it will be CL geocoder. Awesome. Let me just stop this so we can see this a little bit better. Okay, so here we have our geocoder, and now we want to get that access. So yeah, let's just start typing. So geocoder, geocoder, and geocode. And as you can see here, we have some options, and I will choose the one with the completion handler and the only string, because yeah, we're just going to add the text for the address. And under the completion handler, as you can see, we will have an array of place marks. So place mark, and that will marks, and that will be an optional, and error. So let's take a look at the error first. So if let error equals error, and I'm trying to be as fast as possible here. Let's print out our errors, localize description, and return. So do nothing if there was an error. Now finally, let us just unwrap our place marks. So guard let place marks equals place marks, else return. Okay, so from these place marks, we want to grab the first one, and that will also be optional. So I will just go ahead and let, let's say, place mark. So place mark equals place marks first. As you can see, this is also an optional. And then I want to grab the location of this first place mark. So let location, which is also an optional. So that's why I'm having this list of guardlet statements. So place mark, place, let me just copy and paste that in there, and location. As you can see, it's an optional. Okay. And now that we grab our location, we can grab our coordinates from it. So let destination coordinate equals our location and coordinate. Okay, and this is again a coordinate to D. Now we want to set a map. So we want to route the map, and we will do that down here in the set on the map route. And as you can see, I already have a destination coordinate. So yeah, I'm using only a destination coordinate because yeah, that's what we want to input, where we want to go. The starting or the source location, source coordinate is our current location's coordinate. Okay, so let's just scroll all the way up here and type in self, because we are in a closure, and map route and destination coordinate. Okay, so now we can jump all the way down to our map route, and this is what we are going to do. And this will be a little bit like confusing, but yeah, just hold on with me. This is kind of the hardest part here. So first of all, we want to take a look at our source coordinate, where the current location of our user, and that will be an optional, you will see. So I will guard let unwrap that. So guard let source coordinate. Okay, and that will be our location managers. Let's say location and coordinate. Okay, the location was the optional, so that's why we want to have that. And else just simply return. Okay, so now that we have our source coordinate and our destination coordinate, let me explain how we are going to what we are going to lay out here. First of all, we need to create two place marks, and then for those two place marks we are going to create map items, and from those map items we are going to get a request, and we are going to get directions from that request, which will give us a response. That response will have a route, and then we are going to add onto our map view an overlay with that routes polyline. So I know it's kind of confusing, but let's just type that out, and yeah, you will explain. You will understand while we are doing it. So first of all, two place marks, source and destination place marks. So let source source place mark, and that will be an mk map mk place mark, and it will need a coordinate, as you can see, and we will add in here our source coordinate. The same will go for our destination place mark. So destination place mark, there we go. I hope I typed that in correctly. mk place mark again with the coordinate, there we go, and destination coordinate that we just inputted into this function. Now let's create our items. Okay, so let source item, and this will be an mk map item. There we go, map item. And as you already guessed, this needs a place mark. So source place mark, there we go. The same goes for our destination item. So destination item equals mk map item with the place mark of our destination place mark. Okay, pretty boring by now. Okay, now next up we want to create well, basically a route request that we are going to get directions from. So that's pretty simple. Let's create it by naming it route request, and that is equal to mk directions. So this comes from mk directions and dot request. So let's initialize that. And now we want to add some properties to it, like the source item. Okay, so request, route request. Let me just copy and paste that in there. And that will be our, what will be our source? So source, there we go, equals our source item. So source item. Of course, we need a destination too. So route request destination, there we go. It will be our destination item. Okay. And finally, we want to select our transport type. Of course, you can add in here more properties, but I'm just going to add in here our route request transportation type to be dot automobile. Okay, because yeah, we're going to use this in the car. Okay, and now let's just create our direction. Okay, so let direction equals mk directions. Okay, let's just call this directions because it's more what it should be. And we are going to initialize it with our created request, and that will be our route request. There we go. Okay, and finally we want to calculate our directions. So directions dot calculate, and as you can see, we will have a completion handler because yeah, Apple will give us back this handler. And as you can see, we have a response and an error. Both of them are optional. So response and error. First of all, let's take care of the error. So if let error equals error, let's just print out. So print out our errors. Localized description. Of course, you need to be better than this. You need to handle it with at least an alert. Okay. And now that we have our error, we want to guard let unwrap our response and yeah, our route and yeah, maybe some other stuff. But first of all, let's guard let our response because that is an optional. So a response. And then I do know that we need our route. So route equals from the response dot route. So routes. So let's let's go for our roots. And I will choose the first one. So roots.first. There we go. So that's the optional here. And otherwise, else, let's just simply return. Yeah, again. Of course, you might want to have a more robust error handling here. Okay, so now that we got our root, first thing we want to do is set our root that we have here, up here. We want our root. We want to set it as this root. Self, because we are in a completion, root equals root. Okay, because we want, not roots. Let me just change that. Root. Okay, because we want to access it later down the line. Next up, we want to add an overlay of our map. We want to display that. So the root has something called a polyline, and that we will add it as an overlay on the map view. So self.mapView, there we go, and add overlay, and we will choose the overlay one. Okay, and the overlay will be our root dot polyline. As you can see, that is a-okay. And finally, we want to expand the whole map to the starting item, so the source item, and to the destination item. So that is called with the set visible rect. So self.mapView and set visible map rect. And I will use this edge padding because otherwise it will just pin it all the way to this to the edges of our view, top or left or right. And yeah, I want to add a UI edge inset there. So the map rect will be our roots polyline rect. So root dot polyline. And just start typing in rect here, and you will see that we get our bounding map rect. You don't have to memorize all of this. Just know that, okay, here I need a rect. Okay, edge padding, UI edge insets. So let's create UI edge insets, and yeah, I will add in here 16 for all of them. So 16, 16, and 60. Okay, animate it true. Why not? So one final step, now we do have that displayed onto our screen. We want to get the root steps so we can then grab those directions. And while we're at it, I'm just going to add in here because it's the next function right here, get root steps. So self, because we are in a completion handler, and get root steps. And for this root that we have just guardlet unwrapped. Okay. Now, that's okay. Let's just hit Command R and see where we are at. Okay, and yeah, let me just change this to San Francisco. Okay, here we are. And let's type in for the direction like Los Angeles. Okay, and fingers crossed, let's tap on Get Direction. And there we go. Okay, so we already know that, so we expanded the map, so we are in a good position, but we don't see that polyline. And for that, we want to implement the MapView Delegate, and that was the renderer for overlay, I believe. So let's just do that real quick here, and that's the last of the delegates. So MapView and the renderer, let's see. Renderer for overlay. So we want to render out the overlay. First of all, we want to create a renderer. So let renderer, a lot of R's here and E's, and that will be an MK polyline renderer with an overlay, because yeah, we do get our overlay here, and that will be our overlay right like so. And why do we want to have it? Because we want to add the stroke color, let's say, to system blue. So renderer dot stroke color, and you could set the width of the color, this line also. Yeah, go ahead and take a look at what options you have. So return renderer. Okay, and let's just hit Command R, and what do we have here? Yeah, it's working. So yeah, Xcode we take care of, and it did take care of that. So now we are in San Francisco. Okay, let's type in Los Angeles. There we go. And let's get directions. Yeah, we have a blue line with all of the route steps. So next up, we want to grab all of those steps. So we will do that in the I don't know, let's just get route steps. There we go. I just forgot what I named that, but yeah, we have our route, so we want to get our steps. So first of all, we want to remove, so we are going to monitor all of these steps. So before we do anything, we want to remove all of the monitoring if there is any. So we are going to grab all of our location managers monitored regions, and there could be more, so we are going to loop through them in a for loop. So for monitored regions in location location manager dot monitored regions. There we go. And what we want to do is remove them from our location manager. So yeah, I hit caps here. Location manager, stop monitoring, and that region. So monitored region, monitored, not regions here. Let's remove that. So that's how it should be. Okay. Then we want to set up the steps count. So first of all, let's create our steps. So let steps equals, and we have that inside our route. So steps, there we go. It's a mkroute.steps. Okay. And because we also going to use that outside of this function, we are going to set selves.steps equals steps. Yeah, you know, I just created this at the beginning of the tutorial. So we are just going to use that later on. Let me just close this. Okay. Now that we got our steps, yeah, that's pretty awesome that we already did. Let's just scroll all the way down to this function, and let's move through the steps. And we are going to set a region, monitored region for each of these steps. So I will choose a for I in loop. Yeah, let's just type that out so you can see what I'm talking about. From 0 to less than equals to our steps count. So steps dot count. Okay, so not a for monitor region in, but because I'm going to use this I here. So first of all, let's grab our step. So let step equals our steps and the one with the I, order of I. Okay, and let's just print out. Let's see how this looks like. And step, and this step, and what we're going to use eventually, has instructions, and it also has, wait for it, distance. Yes, distance. There we go. So we are here. Let's just hit Command R and see how this looks like. And we should get a list of all the instructions and the distance for them. So let's just type in again Los Angeles. There we go. Get directions. And there we go. And let's just see what we got here. There we go. All of the instructions and the distance, what it takes. And we are going to use that to add as a text into our distance description label or something like that. Let's just scroll all the way up here. Direction label. Yes. So let's just move on. Let's just scroll all the way down where we left off. And now we want to monitor these regions. So let's create a region. So let region equal CL circular region, and this will need center, basically a coordinate, a radius, and an identifier. And the identifier, this is where we will use I. Okay, so center, and that is our steps polyline dot coordinate. Okay, it's kind of hidden there, but you see that. The radius, I will choose 20 meters. That's okay for a car. And the identifier, we need a string, so we need to interpolate our I there. Okay, now that we got our region, we want to start monitoring it, and that is pretty straightforward. Location manager dot start monitoring our region. Okay, now this is because whenever you kind of reach the next step, you get into that region, and the location manager is notified, okay, because it's monitoring all of those steps, all of those coordinates, it's going to notify us. Okay, now that we set up all of these monitoring, so we're monitoring all the steps along the way, we want to, first of all, display the first initial message. And what we want to do is we are going to step the counter up by 1, because the first step is your current location, so we don't want to mess with that. So step counter plus equals 1. Okay, so we have incremented our step counter, and let's just create our initial message. Okay, so let initial message. And if you recall, this message is currently where do you want to go. So we want to change that once we do get our first, or rather yet, not the first, the second step, but the step with the identifier, the index of 1. So the initial message will be something like so. Let's see, in some meters, do this, and then, so in, let's say, X meters, do instructions, so instruction 1, and then in, let's say, X meters, do instruction 2. Okay, something like this. And let's just replace these X and instructions. Okay, so the X here is basically the step counter distance. Okay, so let me just type that out. Okay, we need to interpolate, and let's just grab our current step. So step counter, and let's add in here. Let me just remove this. Okay, so a dot, and that will be our distance. Okay, so in this kind of meters, we are going to do an instruction. Okay, so go and steps, step counter, there we go, and instructions. Okay, and we'll do the same for second step. Yeah, again, we are going to add in the first 2 steps, so plus 1, and let me just copy this out and paste that in there, and plus 1. Because, yeah, why not? The first and second step should be the initial message. Okay. Now, what we want to do is, yeah, will be really cool. We want to use the AV speech synthesizer. So I already created that speech synthesizer, which will need an utterance. So let's just create that. Let speech utterance AV speech utterance, okay, with a string, I believe. Yes, a string, and the string will be this initial message. Okay, and let's just add to the speech synthesizer, let's speak our speech utterance. Okay, and yeah, I just forgot to add this to the direction label. So direction label dot text equals to initial message. There we go. Okay, so let's hit Command R and see how all of this looks like currently. Okay, so where do you want to go? Los Angeles. There we go. Get directions.
In 317.0 meters, turn right onto Bush Street.
I don't know if you can
then
hear
in
this, but
871.0 meters, continue on to First Street.
yeah, how awesome is that? Okay, so next up we want to hit on this start navigation, and we should be able to start navigation. But yeah, let's just implement that, because now that I do get my route, the overall route, I want to zoom in to where we are at. Okay, so what we want to do is, yeah, if you recall, I have a function here, up here. There we go, start, stop, button tapped. Okay, we are going to start and stop. So first of all, let's take care of this start, stop button logic. So I have something called navigation started. So if navigation did not start, so exclamation mark navigation started, or else. Okay, so if the navigation did not start, then we want to move on to displaying all of that navigation. Otherwise, we want to finish it all. So first of all, let's take a look at if we even have a route. So let route equals a route. And if you saw that it's an optional, that's why we want to, it's not let. If let route equals route, we want to, what I want to do is just expand to that maps rect. So yeah, so self.mapView set visible map rect, and route dot polyline, and I believe it was bounding. Yes, bounding map rect. Again, UI edge insets. Sorry, let's leave up to autocomplete here. UI edge insets, top 16, left 16. Again, everything is 16, and animated true. Okay, what else do we want to do? Well, we want to kind of set everything up to the starting stages. Well, I won't do this really in depth. You have to take care of that. But currently what I want to do is just simply for the steps, I want to remove them. So self steps, remove all. There we go. And I just want to set the step counter to 0. So self.step counter equals 0. Okay, so that's when we are done. And let's just move forward and create our location coordinate so we can zoom into it. Yeah, I know it's really hard to explain all of this, but yeah. First of all, let's set our show. Let's not forget that now we are showing the math route equals to true. And then let's grab our location, but that is an optional. So if location equals location manager, so location, if let, sorry, that's why we don't have auto completion. Location manager, there we go, dot location else, or rather yet not else, because it's not a guardlet statement. We do have our location. Now we want to grab our coordinates or the center of it. So let center equals location dot coordinate. There we go. And we want to center. And we are using the center view to user location center. Yeah, so that's how easy it is. So we are going to move on to that. Now, one final thing that we want to do is toggle the navigation started. So navigation started toggle. And finally, do some UI stuff on the start, stop button. Let's say set title. And yeah, if the navigation started is true or false, let's just add in here some empty strings. And we are going to stop navigation, and start navigation. Okay, and for normal. So now that we have our start stop button set up, we want to finally check if we have arrived to that region that we are kind of taking a look at it. So the location manager is taking a look at it. And yeah, I promised you that this will be the last delegate function, but yeah, it's still there. So location manager did enter region. So this is what you wanted to choose. And this will be triggered whenever we are inside a new region. So let's print out here like did enter region. Okay, so there we go, did enter region. And this will be, yeah, so in the simulator, we can't really simulate moving forward. But we can do so. Let's just type in here Los Angeles. There we go. Let's get our directions. There
in
we go.
317.0 meters,
really
turn
cool.
right onto Bush Street. Then in 871.0
Let's
meters,
just wait for that.
continue on to First
and
Street.
Now I will just tap on Start Navigation. It's going to zoom in. And yeah, how can I really do this to move forward? Well, let's just move onto, let's say, Tokyo, Japan. And then let's just move back onto San Francisco. And if you did blink, you kind of missed it. Let's just see that did enter region was there. Okay, so we did enter region. So what we are going to do in the simulator is going to jump from San Francisco to Tokyo and then back to San Francisco to get to the next step. But basically in a real device, this will work flawlessly. So what do we want to do in the did enter region? Well, this is our final part of this long tutorial. So first of all, we want to set the step counter one step up equals 1. Okay, let's just stop this real nice. Now, if we ran out of steps, so we want to check that. So if step counter is smaller than the steps, and this is why we are using these as an outside variables. So steps.count. Okay, if that is the case, or else. So let's take a look at the else statement, because yeah, that's when we kind of arrived at the destination, we are done. So let's set the message. So let message equals you have arrived at your destination. Okay. And let's set the text. So the direction labels direction label text equals message. Okay, step counter. So step counter should be set to 0. And navigation started. So navigation started equals to false, because yeah, we are not navigating anymore. And then we want to remove all of the monitored regions. And that is kind of same how we set them up. Or no, rather than how we remove them on the other functions. So monitored region, and that is in the location manager dot monitored regions location manager stop monitoring stop monitoring, enter monitored region. Okay, so we have taken care of it. Of course, you may want to do other stuff to clean or rather reset everything right over here. Now, if we are on a valid step, then we want to create a message. So let message, and that is equal to, and I will just copy and paste this. So the first one, there we go, because it's basically that message. So steps, counter, distance, and instruction. Okay, and for this message I want to display it. So direction label dot text equals message, and yeah, I want to use the speech synthesizer. So let me just again copy that out from here so we save some time here. Message. Now, finally, let's test it out, and hopefully all of this works. Oh, there we go. Fix that. So let's just simply build and run, and hopefully we will be a-okay. So we are currently in San Francisco. A-okay, working. Let's go to Los Angeles. Okay, let's get their directions. Yeah.
In 317.0 meters, turn
now
right
it's
onto First
telling
Street.
us
Then
the
in
first
871.0 meters, continue on to First Street.
Okay, and now let's start the navigation. Zooming in. How awesome is that? And yeah, we would just start walking on driving the car. But in the simulator, we are just going to move on to, let's say, Hong Kong. Let's just then move back to San Francisco.
In 871.0 meters, continue
and
on to
it's
First
the
Street.
next one. And let's do another one, say Tokyo. So we're just simply moving away from San Francisco and moving back.
In 778.0 meters, merge onto I-80 east toward Bay Bridge,
Okay.
Oakland.
And we can't see really the map moving because, yeah, we are jumping back to San Francisco. But if you take a look at this code on a real device, you will see that it's actually moving to the right direction. And I just kind of simulated the movement. Hope you enjoyed this epic tutorial, and if you did like it, go ahead and give it a like, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell, because in my next video I will be talking about test flight. While you wait for that, make sure to check out these two videos as well. I talk a lot about Swift UI, Swift in general, and as usual, I will see you in the next one.